Welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's time for our weekly look at our favourite deals across the Switch eShops. Here, as always, I'm going to be covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and AU. This one, as always though, just know any price goes, so if you're looking for the cheaper side of the eShop, check out our Thursday edition where we keep everything sub $10 or of course your local currency. That said though, look, this week quite a few cheaper options, nothing crazy in this week's selection. It seems most publishers, they're now prepping for the big upcoming Black Friday sales that we'll no doubt see over these next few days. It was a little bit weird digging through the eShops this week. Then as always, we do have two winners to announce for two $10 eShop gift cards. We'll do that as we go, and if you want to enter this week to win, as always, you just need to drop a comment down below and I'll be picking two winners in next Saturday's episode. So with that luck, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So first up this week, I want to quick fire through 3 games that do end within 48 hours. If you're watching this after the 16th, I'm going to be adding in a chapter so you can skip these and get to those deals that are still happening. These though, they weren't worth missing. First, one of the best 2D side-scrolling platformers on the Switch, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It's quite honestly a near masterpiece. Spoken about it plenty of times and I have every intention of continuing to tell just everyone about its quality. While the first game was fun, channeling a more, think retro 3D adventure like a Banjo and Kazooie, this one it channels Donkey Kong, which makes sense given it's the same devs that actually worked on Donkey Kong working on this, and they just absolutely nail it. Here, explore a 3D overworld while solving puzzles before jumping into 2D levels while on a mission to take down Nemesis Capital B. The most impressive feat here you can pull off: beat the Impossible Lair without completing any other level, because here you can actually jump right to the end game from the very beginning if you choose to. Just be warned though, it definitely earns the impossible in its name. This one, it's matching the lowest we've ever seen with 60% off, and in typical fashion from Team 17, it's only on sale for a few days at a time. And that's the theme with these actual 3 I'm starting the video with. They're all from Team 17 and they really do nail the quality when it comes to their releases. And yeah, these 3 just prime examples of that. So next up then I have Going Under. This is a new one and the first sale we've ever seen. It's coming in with 20% off. It's a roguelike, but it's far from the hardest out there. So if that normally, makes you a little bit nervous, don't be with this one. It contains all the depth and practice, but not the kind of scream at your screen tension you may expect. What it does have though is a very good, if weird, sense of humour and a unique setting. The story, it's a world where failed startups, they sink into the ground and become dungeons full of all sorts of monsters. Your role, you're a new intern at a company that clears out these locations and repossesses their assets. Extremely weird, but the procedurally generated dungeons made for something I'm happy to return to. Then the combat is fun without being too challenging, and the visuals extremely clean and simplistic, but they've put about as much colour in here as you could ever possibly wish for. The final Team 17 release on sale then, the Survivalists, and if you saw my review on this one, you'll know already I absolutely loved it. I also still return and play this one. The gameplay loop is just addictive. Stemming from the escapist visually, that is pretty obvious if you've played the series before, but I just think they kind of outdid themselves with this one, giving us an entry-level survival experience. Entry-level because it's not permadeath, it's not that aggressive, but it still has all the core mechanics you would come expecting. Think resource gathering, crafting, exploration, a huge map, and even some dungeons and enemies to face off against. It's not a perfect game, but it's probably some of the most fun I've had with any experience in 2020, and that was mainly down to its online multiplayer for up to 4 players. Seriously impressive. I think it was well worth full price, and maybe take a look with this 20% off. Just quickly here, I do want to mention now today I launched a second channel alongside SwitchCorner, and that is PlayStation Corner. If you have any interest in the PS5, maybe come take a look, check out the first video, even consider throwing us a subscribe if you would be so kind. Nothing changes here, the same daily content. That one just, you'll see maybe the occasional video because I'm going to be playing the games, so I figured why not talk about them. Linked it down below in the comments if you are interested. Alright, so fight fans, I'm working on a couple of fight stick reviews for you all at the moment, and one I will be dropping this week. One game that I did check out though as I was putting them through their paces was Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. This is probably better than anyone would have ever expected. In fact, it's probably better than it has any right to be. But yeah, I think you've guessed it, absolutely solid. Combat is fun, it's a decent if limited cast of fighters, and the free versus free battles, it just adds a little bit of strategy to the mix for good measure. Graphically as well, I really like this. It captures the show with all its vivid colours and flashy effects. The base game is currently 40% off, but if you already know this one is gonna be for you, just know there's a collector's edition on sale as well. It includes Season 1 DLC, and you can find the Season 2 pass on sale as well. A lot of DLC for this one, I will say. It brings in like new cosmetics and then new playable characters. Generally though, if you like your fighters, it may be well worth looking at this one. Alright, so let's go budget, in fact super budget. Quest of the Dungeons is rocking 78% off, and this is easily a new all-time low. It's a turn-based dungeon crawler that just also happens to be a roguelike too. Choose a warrior from one of 4 classes, so think like knights, mages, and then jump into a dungeon and defeat evil. I love this one because it's all turn-based, which I found really unique. Then you throw in some huge dungeons to explore and a whole lot of loot to find, and it's simple stuff, but I can see why it's so loved because it's just so addictive. This is one I tend to reserve personally for handheld play, but anyone who loves that loop of start, battle, level up, die, repeat, you're gonna find something to like here. The only disappointment, I wish they put a little bit more into these worlds, as visually it can be, if anything, kind of samey. It doesn't detract from how fun the game is though, and I still highly recommend it. So while we're on budget, let's do another one quickly. Strikey Sisters. This was one I picked up following release, and in my head, honestly, I actually thought it was a bowling game because, well, look at the name. That's not the case though. In fact, it's pretty amazing stuff, this one, and the new all-time low is 70% off makes it an absolute steal. There's just a lot worse ways to spend your cash. This is a breakout game essentially, and if you don't know, a breakout game, you have a bar or something at the bottom of the screen and you need to bounce projectiles back across the screen, taking out blocks. Here though, instead of a bar, you are a young girl swinging away at this bullet thing, I guess, taking out blocks and enemies. This then adds story to the formula, and I especially like the overworld map where you choose your levels. Kind of reminds me of old school Mario, moving from dot to dot. The story, 2 sisters, their pet is stolen, and now you are trying to find out who did this by basically beating everyone up. It's definitely got a good sense of humour. Feature wise though, there's a lot going on here. We get 2-player local co-op, multiple difficulties, boss battles to really mix things up. I was surprised with this, and I regret it took me so long to finally jump in. So our first winner of the week then, Axaru, who called out how much fun moving out is and the fact it can end friendships, which I completely agree with. The game can be an absolute pain in the ass. In fact, it is fun though if you like your local co-op experiences, so maybe check it out quickly before that sale expires on the 16th. Congrats though, Axaru. My email is in the description down below, so do drop me a message to claim your code. Still have a second winner coming up later in the video, but of course first, let's do a couple more games. RPG fans now romancing Saga 3. I haven't finished this on the Switch myself yet. It's when I started, got distracted with reviews. Now I need to kind of circle back around to finishing it up, but I can say it's well worth a look if you like an old school RPG experience. Just know it's not an easy game, this one, and it's for sure got a learning curve when it comes to kind of getting into it. I read a number of reviews before I picked it up myself, and yeah, a lot of them pointed out the age shows, the game's tutorials are lacking, but once you get into it, you can see why this 1995 classic is loved. From the masters of the genre, Square Enix, it just screams the consistent quality that they were known for outputting at this time. This one has a story surrounding the idea that if everyone's born in a certain year, then every 300 years they basically all die. It's kind of convoluted stuff, honestly, but that's not really unknown for the genre, let's face it. The pixel art though is still solid. You'll grow out your party, and then the average completion time here, it's close to 30 hours, so I think fans, they can do a lot worse with their cash. With 58% off as well then, a new all-time low, and one I rarely see on sale, but I am going to say it again, you gotta like your old school if you go into this one. So my pickup of the week then, on a game I always intended to play and should have played by now honestly, Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. Somehow I've just never got round to checking this one out, and I never wanted to pay that full price honestly. This new all-time low though of 42% off, it was finally enough to have me pull out the credit card. Honestly, with this one, we're approaching that kind of Christmas season. There's some biggish games to beat coming up for review, and then there's honestly some I just want to circle back to just to play for myself. This one feels like it will be good to just kind of unwind to after those sort of days. No combat, nothing like that from what I know. It's just exploration, adventure, kind of sim elements where you hunt out these creatures to clear the murk and restore nature. So yeah, hunt and collect, and I can absolutely get down with that. Also, it does help the visuals here. Absolutely stunning, and I was impressed when I saw someone playing it very briefly. If you've played this though, do let me know in the comments below if I've made a wise decision to pick this one up. I'd love to get some opinions on it. So our second winner then, before we get to the final 3 games of the week, but this gift card, it's going to Eternity909, who is hoping that No More Heroes 1 and 2 gets like a physical release, and I am absolutely there with you on that one. It's absolutely deserved. If not a full retail, hopefully one of the limited run companies will pick it up. Congrats to Eternity, drop me an email to claim your code. Everyone else, as always, thanks so much for entering, and just remember to do that same thing again this week. Drop the comment down below. I'll announce the winners next Saturday, and yeah, with Black Friday, you can expect probably, I'd say, a few extra sales videos, because I think they're about to get big. So with that then, let's close out with our final 3 games. First up, I've been playing Observer again. It's a great cyberpunk themed horror experience. Another one though that I'd say is a little bit more dystopian but doesn't get enough attention is 7th Sector. I reviewed this over on the channel. Really impressed. You'll start as a simple ball of electricity, but will soon be in control of mechs and drones as you kind of try and figure your way through this increasingly creepy world. It's basically a puzzle adventure, and I don't want to go into too much detail with the story, honestly. I think that will give too much away, but I thought it looked stunning for the most part on the Switch, and it's just extremely unique. If you want something that has a little darkness in its story but then a slower pace for the majority of its gameplay, this might be worth a look. It's not to say there isn't action here though, because there's definitely moments of it, it's just not the focus. Well worth the current 30% off though, which is a bit of a repeated discount for this particular title. I do have a full review of this one though over on the channel if you want to check that out first before you part with your cash. Our last 2 games then, a 2-pack of retro goodness. I'm going old school here, but Namco Museum Archives 1 and 2. They're both offering 40% off, and it's the first time we've ever seen them discounted, and yeah, I mean, look, if you like your retro, then absolutely worth a look. Volume 1, it's giving us Galaxian, Pac-Man, Sevius, Mappy, Dig Dug, the Tower Druaga, Sky Kid, Dragon Buster, Dragon Spirit, the New Legend, Splatterhouse, Wanpaku Graffiti, and then a demastered version of the mighty Pac-Man Championship Edition. Volume 2 then, it's giving us Galaga, Battle City, Pac-Land, Dig Dug 2, Super Sevius, Mappyland, Legacy of the Wizard, Rolling Thunder, Dragon Buster 2, Mendel Palace, and Gaplus. So yeah, it's a good deal with 11 games each. It's rare for me to close out on something I picked up myself in the prior few days, but I added this one to the collection today myself, and I just don't think you can really knock this deal. It's $12, 11 games, so just over $1 a piece. That is a good deal. That's exactly what these videos are all about. And that is it, another week down. A lot of deals were ending today that I just had to skip, unfortunately, and I think now, as I say, we're heading into that Black Friday period where we should start to see some serious discounts. With that though, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. I truly do appreciate it. And if you want to check that out for yourself, I've linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.